Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, and today I'll be reading a multi-character listener by me. So let's get into it. Scaramouche. Scaramouche does not really know what's going on because most of the time arguments start out of nowhere. And though mostly back in the day he would be starting them, he does try to avoid them. And this time just happened to be the one that you started. At the wrongest time of day, mind you. He was having a headache. He did not have time to deal with things like this. And that's why when things got out of hand and the two of you started arguing and arguing, he ended up yelling at you. And it got real loud. So to see you flinch back and that sudden fear in your eyes, as if he would hurt you, that was worse than the argument itself. And it made him just come down from all that anger and look at you for real. Juan, I'm sorry. You're not scared of me, are you? Scaramouche, you don't see yourself when you're angry. You look like you're about to. He shakes his head, looking down in shame. I'm sorry. I'm going to take a break now. Not for me, but for your sake. We'll talk about this later if you want to. And you nod, letting him go away. The two of you needed time to cool off, collect your thoughts, and to be able to talk about this moving forward. After all, you couldn't continue a relationship if he was constantly losing his temper, and if he yelled at you like this again and you were afraid of him. That would not be good at all. And at the very least, the two of you acknowledged that. Tighnari. Tighnari is hardly ever scary with you, but he can be really intimidating when he wants to be. The thing is, you've never really had any anger from him directed at you, and you never had to be scared of him. But it just so happened that one day you would be experiencing that. You didn't really like it, and for good reason. Because when he yelled at you and moved towards you with that rage in his eyes, you really thought he was going to hurt you. And immediately, he paused, as if he was just realizing the repercussions of his actions and what he had done. Wyan, darling, I realized that. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to frighten you or anything like that, he says. And he looks like he's truly upset with himself. He always tried to be patient, always tried to reel himself in whenever things got too far in his head. But apparently, even he has got some learning to do. He apologized a lot and even offered to go somewhere else if he just wanted to be in the house alone tonight. You said there was no need though. He just needed to sleep in the room. And without him, as much as it stung, he knew he needed that time off alone, without him in your face, to be able to decide whether he wanted to forgive him this soon, or not at all. But he does promise you he will do better. And in the morning, you're met with a very, very fancy breakfast and an amazingly good apology, one that's also very sincere. Xiao. Xiao may be frightening, but for the wrong reasons. I believe if he loved you and decided to live with you, then it would be after a long time of hesitating and just thinking if that would be the best course of action. Did he truly want this? Or would he be in danger? He would think about that a lot, and he would try to better himself until he felt like he was deserving to be truly with you in the same place. So for him to have an episode where he felt just so needlessly angry due to the way things worked with him and all those he had fought, it manifested, of course, in one ways more than you could count. But for the most part, he was able to predict when he would have one of those episodes and get away from you. He didn't want to hurt you. He didn't even want to risk it. And that's why he was so hesitant on the two of you living together. But you insisted. So when he had one of those episodes around you, where he was slowly losing sense of things and was about to hurt you, he was able to come back from it pretty fast because you had screamed out his name in fear, and that was worse than anything he'd ever heard. Lion, I. Oh God, I almost hurt you. I could have killed you for all I know. Xiao, you're back. It's fine. We can talk about this. There's no reason to be so afraid. You say, even though you're trembling with fear yourself, but you know it's not his fault. But he teleports away. And as much as you're relieved, because you know that he's going to be away right now and cool off from what he was having, you were scared that he would not come back to you. And only time would truly tell. Albedo. Albedo hardly ever got truly mad at you. It would take a lot. He was patient and endlessly loving. So when something went wrong like this, it also meant that you would be scared and for good reason. Not only because he was scary when he was angry, but you never saw him like that. He was angry over something you can't remember truly what, because it didn't matter much right now. He was yelling at you, and you looked truly and sincerely angry in a way you've never seen before. In a way that scared you more than anything. Oh, waiter, calm down, please. We can find a solution for this. You know I'm sorry. Isn't that enough for you? You say in a heartbroken voice. And when he yells one more time, you flinch, almost jumping from your seat. And you curl up, covering your face with your hands, beginning to cry. He didn't know much about your past or childhood. And even if there was nothing to be afraid of, the way he was acting was not okay. And immediately he realized that, stopping. He was too hesitant to do anything. Truly. Not wanting to get too close as not to frighten you further, and feeling like he had no right to touch you right now. So he just apologized and took his leave. And once he was back, he had tried so hard to make things up to you, to apologize. But you told him you wanted a break. For a while. Maybe things were progressing too fast. Maybe there was a lot you didn't know about him. But you needed more time to decide. And thankfully, he was more than alright with that. Wanted to give you all the time you need to heal and truly know what you want to do with your relationship.